Hello again. We're going to cover semantic fallacies in our Semantics and Pragmatics course. There are so many fallacies, so we're going to cover only six of them. But first, definition of fallacy. Okay, and here's the pronunciation fallacy. It's a false or mistaken belief, or a false reasoning, or a false argument. Okay, I would summarize it by saying a lie. A lie. Big fat lie. Okay, but anyways. So usually, unintentionally, an arguer wrongly assumes something. Okay? The very first one is called composition, and it has to do with a whole and the parts of that whole. And is wrongly assuming that the features or the characteristics of the parts are the whole. The whole. Um, the best example I would say would be the cake. Okay? So, to claim that every ingredient in this cake is the freshest and best quality we can get, so you know the cake must be of excellent quality. Okay? The ingredients have to work together, and if mismeasured, mismatched, or wrongly prepared, they will not produce an even edible cake. So, again, what is the fallacy of composition again? Is to wrongly believe that the parts, the qualities, the features of the parts of something altogether will have the same features or qualities as a whole. If I buy the best sugar, the best quality butter, the most expensive flour, and the best eggs laid by happy hens, I can wrongly assume that I will get the best cake just because I have the best ingredients. There is one little detail that was not taken into account. I cannot cook. I don't know how to cook. Okay. So that is the wrong argument. Yes. What if I don't know, the teachers? Let's talk about teachers. Best teachers ever, like teachers who have lots and lots of diplomas and certificates. Yes, this is very common in Paraguay. Yes, because the educational system here forces us to do that. Yes, so many teachers having many certificates. The more certificates the teachers have, apparently they are better teachers. Yes, but we know reality. Unfortunately, we know reality. Okay, so that is composition. Now we're going to cover another fallacy, and it's the fallacy of before that divi- division, right? But before that, let's read here. Each brick in that building weighs less than a pound. Therefore, the building weighs less than a pound. The building, can you imagine a whole building weighing less than a pound? That's impossible. Okay, so again, we need to identify two parts, the parts and the whole. In this case, each each brick is the part, and the whole building is the whole. So it's wrongly believing that part 1 plus part 2 plus part 3, which individually weigh less than a pound, collectively together will weigh the same. B. Because of all the components of this car are light and easy to carry, then the car itself must also be light and easy to carry. It's similar to the building, yes. C. Because of the all of the components of this is wrong. Oh, no. Of this car are entirely white, then the car itself must also be entirely white. So the components are white. So the, for example, the screws, the I don't know, the gear, the engine is white. So the whole car is white. Not necessarily. If we have all the best players on our team, we will always win. Is it true? Yes, individually they are best players, each of them. But what about when they play together collectively? Paul is the smartest student in our school. Since he's in my class, I must be in the smartest class. Okay. Paul is one part of it. Yes, of the class. So the whole would be the smartest class. So always identify which is the part, which is the whole. In composition, the emphasis is on the parts. The features of those parts will be transferred to the whole. Division is the converse of composition. It's the opposite. The focus is not on the parts but on the whole. Okay. What does it? Let's look at the example. This computer is an extremely complicated device. This is the whole. Therefore, this screw from the back panel must be extremely complicated. Okay. So how can a screw be complicated? A screw is just a screw. But notice the wrong assumption here, the wrong reasoning. Yes, the whole has this characteristic of extremely complicated, so the parts must also be complicated. This painting is very beautiful, so this rock in the painting must be very beautiful. Again, the same thing. The painting is the whole, and the rock is just a part of it. The focus is on the whole. So whenever you do practice exercises on fallacies of composition and division, remember where the focus is. Look for the focus. If the focus is the whole, it's division. If the focus is the parts, then it's composition. Okay, so you have more examples there. Third fallacy, vicious abstraction. Vicious abstraction, also called misquotation. Okay, is when you say something and people use something that you said, and it's true that you said that, but out of context. This happens a lot in politics, in 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 journalism, etc., etc. Understanding out of context. So let's read this. There is a guy. His name is Sam Eyeball. He is he does reviews of films, and he says teenage exploitation films. He's talking about teenage exploitation films. Seem to be drawn from a pile of garbage. Does he like the films or not? No, he hates them. He compares them to a pile of garbage that gets worse as time passes. There seems to be a contest to see who can make the most sickening, disgusting film ever. And this one is the winner. It stands by itself. If you go to see it, be sure to take an air sickness bag. So, is Sam Eyeball against or in favor of teenage films? Totally against. Against. Okay. Someone read what Sam Eyeball said, and they say Sam Eyeball says of the film, this one is the winner. It stands by itself. Okay, so they took only the positive, let's say, aspect of it, but Sam Eyeball says it is the winner among the most horrible ones, the most disgusting ones. That's the problem. Okay, here, the Bible. Many people do not understand the Bible. Okay, Romans 1:1. And Romans 1 6 and 7 says, Paul to all who are beloved of God in Rome. That's the greeting of the letter of Paul to the Romans. Now, who, according to what we have just read, wrote the letter? Paul, right? Okay, let's read the same book, Romans, but chapter 16 now. Timothy, my fellow worker, greets you, and so do Lucius, and Jason, and Sosipater, my kinsman. I, Tertius, who write this letter. Oh, what happens there? What happens here? I thought it was Paul. I, Tertius, who write this letter, greet you in the Lord. Gaius, host to me, and they were blah blah blah. Okay, there is a difference. There is a difference here. Who is the author of the letter? Yes, it's Paul. Who wrote the letter? Did Paul write the letter? No, Tertius did. Tertius. So Paul wrote the letter. He dictated the letter to Tertius, and Tertius wrote the letter with his handwriting. Okay. Now Galatians. In chapter 1, verse 1 from Galatians, it says, From Paul. So who wrote the letter? Paul. And then in chapter 6, verse 11, it says, See what big letters I make as I write to you now with my own hand. Okay. So it's presupposing that normally people wouldn't, the authors of the books would not write the books the letters themselves, but other people did. But in this case, he made an exception and he wrote it himself. Okay. In this fallacy of misquotation, we have two aspects. Misquotation is one, and the other one is suppressed quantification. What is suppressed quantification? Okay. This is generalization. Is to generalize or stereotype certain aspects of people or things or animals or objects or whatever into all of them. For example, Japanese people are neat and tidy. Yes, they are famous for that, but is every single Japanese person neat and tidy? Are you sure? Elephants are emotional. What? Paraguayans are lazy people. Have you ever heard that before? Paraguayans are lazy people? I heard it. But is it that all Paraguayans are lazy people? No. So can I, yes, how can I know if this fallacy is division or composition or misquotation or suppressed quantification? Well, in suppressed quantification, there is always a plural noun. Plural noun, plural noun, generalization. Plural noun, generalization. Okay, that's it. Okay. Equivocation. Equivocation is mm, playing with literal or metaphorical senses. Okay. In For example, when you buy a car, you want value, don't you? This is used in advertisement. If you don't get a good value, you feel guilt. Cadillacs have a higher value than any other American car. So when you want value, buy a Cadillac. Notice that this person repeats the word value many times. But the word value can have multiple meanings. It may not be mean the same to you than to me. Okay, another one. How can you be against people living together before marriage when the men and women at college live together in the dormitories with the approval of the school? Here, the expression living together is taken as having a marital life, and here this person believes is the same thing, but in this context, live together means literally live together one next to the other in a building. Okay, and you have other uh, examples. Okay, so notice that equivocation occurs then when an arguer suddenly shifts from metaphor to reality, or from reality to metaphor, literal meaning, metaphorical meaning, like this. Okay, look at more examples. These people are killers. They are killing the hopes for clean air in the Los Angeles basin. Okay, killing the hope. Kill, metaphorical, killers, you think in real thing. Okay, how to identify this fallacy? Well, the word is repeated twice. Next, number five, amphibology. Amphibology is just ambiguity. We have studied ambiguity. Yes, lexical or structural ambiguity. That is amphibology. So whenever you find like these uh, ambiguous sentences, then this is the fallacy of amphibology. Okay, if you have problems trying to get the two meanings of these, then we always have the WhatsApp to discuss. Make sure you ask questions to me. Here you have many exercises, okay? You need to distinguish between the fallacies that we have studied, okay? But there is yet, here, between the five fallacies that we have studied, there is yet another one, number six, accent. Notice that accent does not have to do with British accent or American accent. It has to do with stress, with emphasis. For example, there are many signs, notices that say, for example, free beer. This is what I see first when I not look at it. Free beer, but actually it says it would be illegal to give away free beer. Okay, so the emphasis is in the wrong part. This was done on purpose to buy to sell, right? So the fallacy arises when the meaning or significance of a true statement is distorted or changed because of improper emphasis. They think it will work versus they think it will work. It changes the meaning when you change the emphasis. Okay, let's look at this one. The original purpose of women's makeup, like lipstick and rouge, was to mimic sexual arousal. So I guess you can see that women who wear makeup are just asking for trouble. Okay, the emphasis is on the word makeup, yes, and it refers to the original purpose. Is the does makeup today nowadays have this original purpose? Not really. Another one. In the United States, aspirin is responsible for more than 10,000 cases of poisoning a year. That is true. It's true statistics. Many so severe that medical experts say death may result despite all recommended procedures. As little as 10 grams can be fatal, and much less than that can cause vertigo, delirium, vomiting, hallucinations, convulsions, and even coma. I think it is clear that we should outlaw aspirin. Okay? There is a problem here. It is true that 10,000 cases of poisoning a year is aspirin is responsible for that. But how many people live in the United States? What's the percentage of people who live in the States having this kind of problem? And also, so the emphasis in the wrong place. Also, it says as little as 10 grams. Who has 10 grams of aspirin per day? Nobody does that. So, wrong emphasis. In the fallacy of accent, we can see not only wrong emphasis or emphasis on the wrong side of the sentence, but also there are two more uh, parts uh, of the fallacy of accent. One is the one which is called suggestion falsi, a false suggestion. Okay, when you emphasize your sentence in a way that it implies something else. For example, if a student should say, "My roommate did not take any drugs today," and the emphasis is on the word today, this person is implying something, is suggesting something, right? Is implying that on the other days he might have taken drugs, which is not necessarily true. Okay, so that is another one. After 6 months of running the city in his own way, he has still not been put in jail. Okay, this is true. The what's his name? It's not Mario Ferreiro anymore. Nenecho. Okay, Nenecho has still not been put in jail, right? It's true. He has not been put in jail. That is true. But the implication is that he has to go to jail for something that he did or did not do. Okay, so it's implying something wrong. He wrote his last paper all by himself. If you emphasize all by himself, it is implying that the other days on another time he did not write his last paper. He did not write his paper himself. Someone else did. I am a candidate who cares about people. Okay, so the others do not then. It's implying who cares, who actually cares about people. So he's implying that the other candidates do not. Vote for Jones, he's not an extremist. What does it imply? It implies that the others are extremists, right? So that has to do with suggestion falsity. Now the other one, the other part of the fallacy of accent is called suppressio veri. Okay, I don't know why they use in Latin words, but okay, these are the expressions. It means suppressing the truth. Okay, so they tell you something, but they hide something else. Example: the almonds in this candy bar contain arsenic. What is he suggesting? Arsenic is poison. But the part that they don't tell you is that all almonds and many other foods contain arsenic in trace amounts. Okay. Publicity. 1 cup of new concentrated whiz cleans twice as well as a cup of ordinary detergent. What they don't tell you is that it costs 3 times as much money. Okay, so whenever you have a suppressio veri fallacy, is super easy to spot because you will have the truth that they are not telling you in parentheses or in brackets. So super easy to spot. Okay, make sure you go over all this because publicity advertisement is full of fallacies. Why? Because they want you to buy the product. Okay, so here there are more exercises. Make sure you do all the exercises, and if you we can check together during the week if you want, or things like that. Okay, or if you have doubts, just let me know. Okay, they are paper clips. You can make something beautiful out of paper clips. What kind of fallacy is this one from the ones that we studied? Yes, 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 you are right. Paper clips is a plural noun phrase. Plural noun. Clips are plural nouns, paper clips. Okay? So this boy is generalizing. Definitely she made something beautiful out of paper clips. What do we call generalization? Yes, yes. Suppress quantification. Very good. So the answer is D. Suppress quantification. Because the boy is generalizing. Like this. Okay? Make sure you do all this. Goodbye. See you soon.